I'm gonna go start a section where I tell relatable, crazy, or embarrassing stories, although I don't know what category this would fit into. Please note that some details might be off as I haven't been in this class since January 2025. Yeah. For the English requirement of my senior year of high school last year, I decided to take two semester long courses, pre college writing and public speaking, both of which will have their own accompanying videos, so consider this a part one. I don't remember my initial reaction seeing my classmates, but I do remember unexpectedly seeing a friend of mine. Thought she'd taken another English class. Turns out she doubled up on English classes. If all goes well, she may turn out to be a best-selling fantasy writer. We were the only two passionate about writing in that class. The rest were either in the middle or just did not take it seriously. Lots and lots of popular boys were there, so it's already not the best environment. This class was called pre-college writing, often shortened to college writing. A good idea of the vibe I was getting in September is to talk about open house. I went with my parents, heard my teacher give a mini presentation about the things we'd be doing. There were about 10 to 15 things on the board, and my first thought was, wow, we're going to be writing that many essays? Just to be clear, I knew going in this would be an essay writing class, so I'm not claiming ignorance. I was just shocked at the moment. So the first piece of writing we did was a 6-word memoir. I put that in quotes because it didn't have to be true or even realistic. To be honest, this was a cool exercise. It didn't matter so much about the words themselves, but the impact of them. It forced us to be creative, something I have trouble doing. Mine was something about music, but it doesn't really matter. The next was a descriptive essay. We were supposed to take, I think, an object or something and provide a description as if we were that object. That one was weird, but it was hard because I struggled with open ended stuff. So it's not the fault of whoever made the curriculum, that struggle was on me. Oh, yeah, I should mention the structure and everything of this class. We were able to get college credit through a local college. I guess they offer credit for classes in the high school that they also offer. So I was getting credit for this semester long class. I was expecting a difficult college level class. After that was our research essay. I researched the impact on horror movies, and I'd like to make a separate video on a particular movie that was surprisingly scary, but I'll sum up my subtopics. I wanted to focus on the reasons why people come back to horror movies, mainly thrills, as well as the way they're done in practice. A good example of this would be how good some horror movie ads are at scaring those not in the target audience. I had lots of fun with the research. Everyone did their own topic, so I got to work on my own, which I usually prefer. We didn't even need to present, but not because of timing. Oh, yeah, timing. Here's where things start getting interesting. The research unit took forever. The reason is because we were given so much time to work on it. How long did it take? I'm not sure exactly, but I remember one specific detail. Quarter one ended, and we had just finished the research essay. Let that sink in. Half the course passed, and we've only done two essays. You might be wondering what we spent the quarter actually doing. Well, we didn't spend it doing much, but my teacher spent a lot of it talking. In fact, she spent about an hour looking into our school having to change its mascot and sports team name. I guess it was something that had racist roots, but not as obvious as the Washington Redskins or the Cleveland Indians. Another three classes were spent watching The Social Dilemma, which is the only documentary I haven't liked. That may also be its own thing. Then my teacher said something like, I don't know if I like that. I won't teach it next year. Signaled to me that she might have made an impulsive decision and it hurt her in the end. An ironic part of all of this would be her lesson on media bias. We're being taught how not to be biased by the most biased person I've ever met. Even the videos she showed were biased. We watched one on CRISPR, the thing that allows people to modify genes. Except the speaker had the same tone as a YouTube horror channel. The only downside I remember is the potential lack of diversity, such as getting rid of the autism gene. One of the reasons I don't want kids is because I don't like the genes I'd pass on. Obviously, adoption can solve that, but then I don't know what genes I'm getting. Plus, it's a ton of paperwork and money on top of the money the average parent spends on a kid. Just another disclaimer, I'm not sure if everything's in the correct order, but it shouldn't impact the story that much. But that was it for the lessons. The teacher had published 2 books and had a lot of writing experience. All the other English teachers looked up to her, so I'm confused why she wasn't actually teaching us anything. We got to do some literary analysis of Ernest Hemingway. From what I heard, he wrote good stuff but was also very sexist. The analysis wasn't bad. We had a sub for 1 or 2 classes then, so it was pretty chill. Then we wrote an essay comparing the 2 texts. Again, not bad. Then we spent 3 or so classes watching another documentary. I remember it for being about 2 things: abuse and skateboarding. It's called Minding the Gap. It covers heavy topics, obviously, but it's very well made. It's not perfect. There's a line towards the end where one of the people said, "Sometimes women just need to be slapped," or something like that. But I think it shows how normalized this can become once you've experienced it so many times. The next essay was a review of the film. It was once again open ended. Only a few things were required. The final was an essay about how ready we felt we were for college. This was after her and my Spanish teacher mentioned completely contradictory details. One said college is exactly like high school, the other said it's completely different. Really, the majority of stuff I learned in that unit was said in a video we watched, not from my teacher. According to her, college professors don't like teaching at all. I challenged this belief so hard that I asked a professor at my college while taking a tour if he liked teaching. He said he did. So look at that. It depends on the person. That's why generalizing it is so bad. With the large amount of time we were given on assignments, this class was much slower than most of my high school classes. But what also influenced this belief was the grading system. After the pandemic, my school offered a grading system that was incredibly curved as a way to, inflate averages, to inflate their passing rates, so they can appear better than they are. My teacher took it to a completely different level. She's like, you know what? I'll give you an 85 just for turning your essays in. So naturally, that encouraged my classmates, mostly the popular boys, to procrastinate. They had a lot of time and knew they could get a good grade for turning in bad work. Oh, and my teacher didn't even try to make anyone aware of grammar mistakes, even when they were obvious. Meanwhile, I'm over here asking questions like, did I use the semicolon correctly? Clearly, this class was not meant for someone like me, and I was getting college credit for this class. Apparently, one of the local colleges actually provided this same course and partnered with us. So that'll be it for today. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this story or if you've got one similar to it. Thank you.